Ever since I started this channel, I would occasionally make a passing reference to one of my absolute favorite anime slash manga series from time to time. I would bring it up in casual discussions. I would use images like this, or this whenever I'm doing my more usual off-the-cuff anime vlogs. I always find myself going back to Genshiken. Now, why the hell do I feel that way? Well, I will do my best to explain. I am not going to lie, this is going to be a very off-the-cuff video. It's not really going to be a review of sorts. It's just going to be me gushing about this series, and I still would like to recommend it to you guys if you're not familiar with it or if you're curious yourself. And I'll try to sell that to you as real as fucking possible. Genshiken, an abbreviated term for Gendai Shikaku Bunkai Kenkyokai, which roughly translates to the Society for the Study of Modern Visual Culture, is a slice of life series about, well, a college club about otakus, really. That's the basic gist of it. They gather in a small club room, have meetings, watch anime, read manga, read doujinshi, hang out in Akiba, cosplay, attend Kamafest, which is the copyright workaround of Comic Cat, build gunpla kits, build relationships, etc, etc. So, there have been other anime and manga series that talk about otakus and other hobbyists as like the central focus of a series. You know, you got Lucky Star in the case of Izumi Kanata, you have Otaku no Video, you have High Score Girl, which deals with gamers in the 90s. Great series, watch it on Netflix if you can. But Genshiken is the gold star standard for me, and I'll explain why in a bit, but I think I want to give a little context of my backstory with this franchise, because watching a show when and how can also be a contributing factor of why you love a show so much. Well, anyways, since this was an anime about, college otakus, I saw this like the summer before I entered my freshman year of college. To be as quick as possible, a friend of mine from the anime club lent me her DVDs. I binge watched it all in one afternoon and fell in love with it almost immediately that I had to find the DVD copies of my own, but I also was hunting down the manga because if I love a series that much, I will try to hunt down the original source material most of the time. And in this case, it was the manga in 2002 that was done by Kiyoshimoku. The biggest praise I can give it is that, and this is going to sound very generic and cliche, and I apologize, but it is heavily grounded in realism. It is a pretty accurate portrayal of otakus, or at least Japanese otakus, not the Western ones. There are some slight differences here or there, but it feels very realistic. It feels like characters that people can relate to. Again, sorry for the fucking cliches. And characters that might remind people of their other otaku friends. Like, there's a character there, Kugiyama, the large dude. He's an artist, but he's a lazy artist, and I have plenty of friends who are also artists who are either lazy or struggling to find the drive to keep going. So that's one example right there. I mean, it's realistic enough that I'm actually surprised that there isn't a Japanese live-action adaptation of the series, which could 100% work, and you wouldn't have to change anything, except maybe if you were to make it now, you would have to update the anime references, considering that the manga is almost 2 decades old at this point. And the entire cast, they have their own fair sets of strengths and weaknesses, and almost every single one of them are likable except for one character. There's one character I can't stand, and considering that the later series introduced like 3 yaoi fangirls across just a yaoi fanboy and a frickin' super American weeb, this speaks volumes about how much about this one character I don't want to talk about, how much I just loathe him. But that's like really the one small blemish. And even a character like that, unfortunately, there are those cringy types over here as well. We all know them. We all see them on the internet. We probably bump into them at a convention. But you just go, whatever, and hope he's not that much of a nuisance. If there were any criticisms I would give, it would probably be how it was localized manga-wise. It relies on using some of their own terminologies. Like, for example, the term doujinshi is been replaced by fanzine, and that just doesn't catch on at all. And this was from, hold on, let me check. Yeah, this was from back when during the Del Rey's time when they published the series. Plus, they were using a lot of fake references. What do I mean by fake references? It's where you can't officially say the direct name of the reference, so you have to come up with a phony baloney substitute name that kinda sounds like the thing you're referencing. Like, I think one character was supposed to say Chun-Li, but he says Chun-Lin instead. And stuff like that just makes me let out an exasperated sigh. Which is weird because the anime adaptation with its English dub, which was dubbed by Media Blasters, so expect a couple voice actors from Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! To play some roles. I mean, Rachel, I don't know how to say her last name, Lilith. Misty from Pokemon, she voices Kaneka Ono, the cosplayer and the first main female member of Genshiken. They didn't have any problems directly name dropping stuff. You know, they'll say, hey, Capcom versus SNK, hey, this thing. And they even showed gameplay footage of Guilty Gear, one of my favorite fighting game franchises at the moment. Another thing I can praise this show for, just because everyone's a weird, semi-social / borderline anti-social otaku, doesn't mean they don't get relationships and stuff. There are characters who do end up getting shipped officially and get romantic with each other. Kosuke and Sakakasakabe was there from the start, but they also had one with Tanaka and Ono, and then later with Sasahara, one of the main characters at the beginning of the series, with another character, and one character almost even had a harem, which was a story arc that took almost the entirety of Genshiken second season to wrap up. But I thought it was worth it at the end at least, and I'll go into more details about during my next Genshiken vlog. So that's another positive I can give it for. Like I said, it's all about the portrayal of the weebs that I love it so much. It's more of an inspirational for gold star standard for me whenever if I want to feel like writing something or come up with characters. The show just does it better than most of everything else, especially afterwards. And they have great character designs, and you know, Genshiken, it's probably a somewhat niche series here in the Western world, but I think it does get some fair praise and recognition, at least in Japan. I see it crop up from time to time. One example would be, you know, there's a game I love on the PlayStation 2 and Vita called Akiba's Trip, and much to my surprise, there were actual advertisements for the Genshiken second season anime adaptation. I'll go into that a little bit later, it's going to be confusing for some people. And they also had a free DLC where you can change your protagonist model to look like that of one of the characters, Susanna Hopkins, which is how I've been doing most of my LPs on Twitch as. In fact, I believe she's still on my Twitch profile. I need to look that up, it's pretty hilarious. So I thought that was neat. And Kyo Shimoku himself, because he's such a hardcore Gundam fan, he actually did a bonus chapter for Volume 3 of Mobile Suit Gundam The Origin, which is a fantastic read thus far, which I've only got like 3 volumes in up to the Ramba Ra arc. But I was surprised to see him not only praise, you know, the Gundam franchise, one of his quotes on the book, but yeah, he had a guest chapter where 2 of the characters were in the club room with Gundam protagonist Amuro Ray. I thought that was pretty sweet. So I'm glad he is getting a little love and recognition, because I really want Genshiken to still be relevant, even though the series is pretty damn old. I want it to be one of those timeless classics, trying to, you know, push it out there. Alright, I guess the best way to wrap this video up is probably to answer some people's questions, where to start, where to begin. Obviously, I am going to put the manga first before the anime, for several reasons. The biggest one being is that more material was covered. A lot of stories never got really finished in the anime adaptation. And in fact, I believe there was like a big chunk of material when they jumped from Genshiken 2 to Genshiken second season. I know, confusing. I'll get there in a second. They just chomped out a lot of fucking story elements from the last few volumes. So obviously I would recommend the manga first. I believe it got reprinted, re-released, and is still available in omnibus format. There are 3 omnibus volumes out so far. And if I find them on Amazon or Right Stuff, I will post links below so you can go check it out yourself. I believe Right Stuff, it's like $15 a volume, so that's actually ain't too bad. But if you're ever interested in seeing the anime first, because you like anime, you can't give manga a chance, shame on you. Little bit of bad news. The DVDs have been out of print for a while because it was old Media Blasters IP, and I've been scouring up on the internet to see if I can find any remnants. I could still find some volumes here and there, but it's not the complete set. There's a particular set out there for Genshiken, for at least the first 2 seasons, because that's probably the one you want. And it contains Genshiken, Genshiken 2, and the 3 OVAs that take place between them. Yes, you have to watch them because it introduces another character. The problem originally was those Genshiken OVAs were actually packaged with another anime originally. It was an anime adaptation of the series meta show Kujibiki Unbalanced, and each volume contained a bonus episode of the Genshiken OVA, which is probably why I went and bought those up anyways. But I believe that complete set that has both seasons do have those OVAs, so that's a good thing if you can find it. I'll see if I can scour and hunt for it. But hey man, I'm a good hunter when it comes to hunting shit at the store. I mean, I did eventually find me those DVD volumes myself when I was doing my Thrill of the Hunt, like my last video, of buying DVDs. And I remember those volumes being pretty fucking expensive. I think they were still $30 a pop. I still buy anyways, man. That's how much I love the series. And then there's Genshiken second season. And I must confess, I have yet to watch the anime adaptation of the second season, and I believe those Blu-rays are out of print because they were localized by not Media Blasters, but Nippon Ichi Software of America back when they wanted to jump in on the whole licensing anime craze, where they would just sell you expensive Blu-rays, neat little collectibles and all that shit, but they won't bother dubbing it, they won't bother getting voice actors for it. So yeah, no English dub for it. And the Japanese dub replaced most of the voice actors, so it's not even a real consistent experience. Plus, like I said, I heard they skipped a lot of material anyways to jump straight to second season. And even though I really liked the manga of Genshiken second season, which, by the way, afterwards, if you read the Omnibus collection and if you want to jump into second season, it's 12 volumes altogether. So you got that Omnibus volumes 1, 2, 3, which cover 9 volumes initially, and then second season volumes 1 through 12. There's also a novel of Genshiken called Return of the Otaku, which I was actually surprised to see it get an official localization and translation. Obviously, being the mark I am, picked it up. And while it was a fun read, you remember all that shit I talked about Genshiken, praising it for its, pretty grounded characterizations and world building and all that. Yeah, they threw that out of the window for some weird superficial shit about a haunted visual novel game that fucking eats people's souls and a fucking student council guy who's using militaristic force to shut down clubs. It was fucking weird. And canonically, it doesn't even fit with the rest of the series because they made some changes here and there, but whatever. It's a fun little one-off if you're ever curious. It's called Return of the Otaku. It's only 1 volume. Give it a read if you want. Yada yada. So that's pretty much all I got to say. This video is basically a warm-up for another video I want to do Genshiken related that I have a stronger passion for. I think it'll be an interesting video. It's going to be me having to play defense attorney for a character that's probably going to be hated if you ever read this yourself, but I'm going to do my best. And if you've already seen or read Genshiken, You know, post in the comments below. Tell me what your thoughts, all that stuff. Type out your little experiences since you got unlimited text, whatever. I do like to hear reception feedback and see what you guys thought. And if you never heard this series, well, I hope I got you curious to give it a try. Like I said, it's a series that deserves a lot of praise and love. So, with that said, this is Darkscream signing out.